Yo, 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 what's good, everybody? It's your boy Don Sarve, back with another video. So before we get started, I'm gonna give y'all 5 seconds to like the video and subscribe. Each like and subscribe push your boy up to the results. So I'm gonna give y'all 5 seconds, alright? Alright, I salute to my familia. So we're gonna talk about this thing in the NBA with all these trades, these buyouts. The question that we want to ask each other is: competition in the NBA dead? I mean, you got teams that people are saying that they're trying to buy their way to get a ring. So we're gonna discuss that to see if this is a new thing, it's an old thing. We're gonna discuss to see if competition is really dead. I'm also giving my thoughts on it, and we're also gonna talk about, why people hate it and whose fault is it. I ain't gonna waste y'all time no more. You already know what to do. Hit it! Yo, welcome back. So let's ask the question again. Is competition in the NBA really dead? I mean, and y'all seeing right now, people are joining. Let's start with this right quick. Competition. I know it's a foreign word right now in the NBA. Actually, it's a foreign word probably in sports, but preferably the NBA. Competition. I'm going to go and give a definition of it. Competition is the act or process of trying to get or win something that someone else is also trying to get or win. That means if I'm going against you, I want to be the best. It's all about competition. One of the best, most famous competition was WCW versus WWF. Well, now WWE, aka the Monday Night Wars. Now, a lot of us that have been around that time love both wrestling companies. You had to tune in. You had WCW with the NWO, Bill Goldberg, Sting, Les Luger, just endless people, but mostly it was the NWO time. You had your WWF or WWE. You had your DX, Stone Cold, The Rock, The Undertaker. Shawn Michaels. The list goes on, and they were competing with each other to win that wrestling championship, which ultimately means to be the number 1 wrestling company. And as you've seen, in 2001, WWE bought WCW and was ultimately the victor. So, let's go ahead and jump into it when it comes to the NBA. Now, we have to ask, ladies and gentlemen, when this whole jumping together, not trying to compete, really start? Let's take a rewind time to the 80s, 40 years ago.
Yeah, it's rewind time.
We have in the 80s, you had your Los Angeles Lakers, the Showtime Lakers, Magic, Worthy, Kareem. You had your Celtics, Bird, McHale, Parrish. Let's not also forget the Sixers, Julius, Moses, Chuck Barkley. Let's not forget the Bucks, Sidney McKeith, Terry Cup. You had so many teams in the 80s that, even though it was really 2 teams, they were all competition. Let's go ahead to the 90s. I know we have the Bulls, but let's be real. Let's start with the Bad Boys Pistons in the 90s. Then you had your Bulls, you had your Rockets, you had your Knicks, you had your Jazz, you had your Pacers. And you had teams, the Suns. You had teams that even though Jordan stopped teams from winning the championship, that doesn't tear up the fact that these teams were competing against each other. They wanted to beat Michael Jordan. Even though a lot of people would call Michael Jordan the GOAT, a lot of us agree with that. He was even named as Black Jesus, God in basketball shoes. But you wanted to beat Michael Jordan. It just, a lot of people say it's an honor to lose to him, it's okay to lose to him, but in respect, you don't want to join the Bulls, you want to beat the Bulls. Let's go to the 2000s. And this is when things kind of started to change just a little bit. Because why I say that? Let's first start in 2003 with the Los Angeles Lakers. Now remind you, they just did a three-peat. They beat the Pacers, the Nets, the Sixers. In 2003, Karl Malone and Gary Payton joined the Los Angeles Lakers. And even though that season was a very interesting one, they did go to the finals. But what happened? They lost to the Detroit Pistons. I mean, no one really saw that. People thought like, oh, Lakers want to get a fourth championship. I mean, even though Detroit had great defensive players, Ben Wallace, Tayshaun Prince, Rip Hamilton, Chauncey Billups, the Lakers still had Shaq and Kobe. I mean, one of the best, if not the best duo. And now you add Karl Malone, who, I mean, it's Karl Malone. I mean, he was a superstar with the Jazz. And you had the glove Gary Payton, the defensive prowess Gary Payton. So, you know, a lot of people really thought the Lakers were going to win, but they didn't. Okay. A lot of people don't want to talk about that. I mean, because technically Karl Malone was injury prone, he was old, you know. So people was like, oh, they just trying to get a ring. So nobody wanted to discuss that. Okay. Let's fast forward 4 years later. In 2007, you had Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen joining Paul Pierce and the Boston Celtics, forming the Big Three. Now, we all know the Big Three did go win on to that championship, and ultimately having Kevin Garnett tell everyone his famous quotes.
Anything's possible. Anything's possible!
So, why nobody talk about that? Then why do I say they was forming? You know when it really, really started? Sadly, the death of competition may have started in 2010 with, drum roll please, The Decision. So some people may not understand what The Decision was. This was LeBron James. What happened was his contract ended with the Cleveland Cavaliers. And he held a 60-minute ESPN televised all over the world about basically telling us the cure for cancer. But he held a whole entire TV show basically, telling everyone about some goals and blase. All anybody wanted to know was, are you going to join Cleveland or go somewhere else? And eventually he chose the Miami Heat. He joined D-Wade and Chris Bosh. You know what the biggest issue with that was? It wasn't the fact that, you know, it's free agency. Go wherever you want to, man. It is what it is. But you join with your friend, Dwayne Wade. And you had Chris Bosh. All three guys literally were stars in their teams. Wade was a star with the Heat. Bosh was a star with the Raptors. LeBron was a star with Cleveland. They all came together. And literally when they came together, they had a rock concert. Basically, and LeBron getting on the mic doing his famous line, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 20, not 30, whatever. And that upset a lot of people. Because you already had LeBron, who people looked at as the best player in the world. You had Dwayne Wade. I mean, it's still Wade. That's still Flash. I mean, it's still Wade. And Bosh is not no slouch either. He was an all-star as well. All these guys coming together. And now what happens? They come together. They beat the Big Three. They go on for the next 4 NBA Finals, winning 2, beating the Oklahoma City Thunder with a young Russell Westbrook, James Harden, KD. They're going to beat the San Antonio Spurs as well. That is where competition really started to die out. Because when the other 3 got together, they were running through people. It wasn't even funny. As a matter of fact, if anybody played NBA 2K, probably the number 1 team that everyone picked was the Miami Heat. and probably right after the Los Angeles Lakers. But most everybody played with the Heat. You had Wade, Bosh, LeBron. I mean, who else would you really go choose against that? I mean, and then LeBron had one of the best seasons of his career with the Heat. So that's when competition really started to die out. Because now, everybody wants to play with their friends. I mean, you can fast forward to nowadays. As we all said again, the Brooklyn Nets. They already have James Harden, KD. They're friends. Now you got Kyrie. Okay, triple threat. Then here goes Blake Griffin. Here goes LaMarcus Aldridge. They probably bring Brandon Roy back. They probably bring Greg Oden back. I mean, Jordan probably come back to win a 7th championship. I mean, who knows? And then you had Andre Drummond. His contract buying up for Cleveland goes to the Lakers. So now, when everybody chooses who's gonna be in the finals, you got Brooklyn Nets, Lakers. Some people will say the Clippers, but I mean, who knows? And that's another thing too, the Clippers. When Kawhi Leonard left the Raptors, he said he would not come to the Clippers unless you go get Paul George. This is the issue a lot of times with the NBA. Where is the competition? Why everybody wants to? It seems like everybody wants to join together, buy a ring. What ever happened to? I want to play against the best. Not I want to play with the best. I respect you. I respect your game. That doesn't mean I want to play with you, because at the ultimate, I want to be number one. I want to be better than you. After the season over, I mean, we can go to Dave and Buster's all you want. I mean, we can go ahead and have fun. We can go ahead and top golf or whatever you want to do. But when the season starts, I'm coming at your head. And after it, we can shake on it. If you want to do that. But now, it's like, hey, I can't win. I'm going to go join my buddy. We can go in together. Hey, let me go get this guy. Let me go get that guy. Let me go do this. Let me go do that. But here's the question I want to ask. Whose fault is it? Is it our fault? I believe it is our fault. When I say our, I mean the media, the fans.
What did he say?
The reason why it's our fault, because we judge people on their career. We judge people mostly on a championship. I'll give you an example. The NFL, the top 5 quarterbacks. Some people say Brady, Montana, Manning, and for some odd reason, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Ben Roethlisberger. They all these guys. Why? All because they had one or multiple Super Bowl rings. My guys don't pick Dan Marino. Why guys don't pick Bernie Kosar? Why guys don't pick Dan Fouts? It's because they ain't win nothing. Even though Marino had a record that lasted for over 2 decades, a lot of people would not put Marino as the top 5 best quarterbacks of all time. How about this? Let's go to NBA. You got your LeBron, your Michael, Kareem, Bill Russell, Will Chamberlain. Great players. You know who don't get that love? Let's keep it simple. You know who really don't get that love at the guard position the way he deserves? Allen Iverson. AI was a dog. At 6'2" guard, he was a dog. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying because he's my homebody, we 7 cities, VA all day. Look at his game. AI took one of the worst teams to the finals against Kobe and Shaq Lakers and won the first game. No one really thought that. No one thought they was going to win one game. Everyone thought the Lakers was going to sweep them. But AI showed them just exactly how good he was. Look at Barkley. Barkley don't even get mentioned a lot of time for best power forwards. And if you go look at his stats, the man was actually doing great. He won a MVP over Jordan. No one mentions him. Dirk, Tim Duncan, Karl Malone, Kevin Garnett, Barkley didn't get mentioned. Patrick Ewing, I mean, I don't think he's in the stratosphere when it comes to centers. Karl Malone, I mean, you got guys that didn't win a ring, and so what happens is, as fans, as media, they're not even in the midst of being talked about. And one thing about it is, a lot of times, it's not their fault. That's the thing about we need to understand. It's not their fault. So I'll leave you with this. What should be done? I don't know if it's ever gonna change. I honestly, I believe it's never gonna change because too much has happened. There's so many guys that don't want to compete with each other, want to play with each other because they don't want to go down as a guy who didn't have a ring. Last of the dying breed are guys like Vince Carter, guys like Damian Lillard, guys that if they wanted to, they can go to a team for a championship, but they didn't. Damian Lillard, I mean, he is the top 5 best point guard in the NBA. Have a chance to leave the Blazers, probably go to the Lakers, go somewhere big market and win a championship. He wants to stay in Portland. And sadly, if he doesn't win a championship, they might not put him as one of the best point guards, even though he may have the numbers. Everybody know Dame time. So I end it like this. What do you think about the future status of the NBA? Is it ever going to get back to competition? Is it ever going to be more than just 3 teams, 4 teams that we believe go to the finals? Literally. What do you guys think? I want you to go ahead and leave a comment down below. What do you think that should happen to the NBA? Then competition's coming back? Or basically it's going to be a buddy-buddy league? That's all we need to know. That's all we want. It's competition. We want to know who going to be the best. I'm going to end it like this, y'all. It's your boy, Don Suave. I'm going to say one love, peace, and I'm out.